It's Schneblyville Pirate Radio. Hear them radio waves aglow. Yo ho, yo ho, yo ho, yo ho. It's Schneblyville Pirate Radio.
I just got a text from you, and it said, I'm so excited to do the podcast. And what I remember like really sparking your excitement was the topic. And from what I remember of the topic, like it was so weird that like I didn't, like neither of us, like you said something and literally neither of us had any idea like what, like we both knew when you said it, like what it meant, but at the same time, it's like we need to do a whole podcast to like unpack this because we don't really get it fully, and maybe a podcast would help us.
Right.
So what was that again you said?
Oh, I don't remember what it was.
Damn. Wasn't it like oh wait, I wrote it down, bro. All right, here it is. So you said basically, oh yeah, the bubbles, no, the center of your heart is like where it's like the center of the energy, and you can dip your head into the bubbles. Wait, was it like from your heart you dip your head in the bubbles, or knowing that the center of the energy is in the heart, then you can dip your head in the bubbles?
Yeah, you bring up some really interesting points. And, you know, like, what did your note say again?
It said, your heart is the center of the energy. Like, like a sun. We were talking about like
puts your head in the bubble.
That puts your head in the bubble.
Your heart is the center of the energy that puts your head in the bubble. Let's unpack this. What do we mean by bubble? Bubbles appear everywhere. It's almost like anything can become a bubble.
Maybe, yeah, so anything is already a bubble, maybe, but you just don't perceive it like that because you're not, the energy of your heart is not like fully online.
Well, bubbles appear everywhere. It's just whether you decide to stick your head inside the bubble and you want to go for a whole ride. You know, the universe is always offering you a trip, an attachment, a story, something that you're going to stick your head inside of. These are the foretold bubbles that we're talking about. We're talking about, you know, you look at that and suddenly an idea can come. You can be on a trip for 5, 10, 100 years. That is putting your head inside the bubble. And the center of the energy, which drives one to put the head in the bubble, is the heart. Finn.
The bubbles of our lives. So, bubbles, we all have. You got your bubbles, I got my bubbles. Maybe sometimes I don't want to go in a bubble. You know, maybe I've been in that bubble, or I've got other, you know, sort of bubbles that I'm interested in right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you don't have to go into, in a sense, you don't have to go into any bubble, you know?
Exactly. So sometimes you ride a bubble for a while and it was kind of a nice bubble, and then something happens and it just pops.
Well, that's what happens with bubbles, right? Well, I mean, that's one thing we know about bubbles. Is
bubbles
like,
pop.
Bubbles pop.
Bubbles pop.
Bubbles pop. And if you like popping bubbles, you know, there's no shortage of, you know, bubbles to pop. But if you want to try to, if you have a bubble that you need to defend, I wish you great luck. Just for the mere fact that bubbles do pop. And I've never met a bubble that didn't pop. I don't know about you, my guy, but unless you found a way to develop some indestructible bubble, you know, which I would love to see.
Well, I'll tell you, brother, what appears to be the indestructible bubble, people think they're living inside a story their whole lives, but it's not actually one bubble that they may manage to maintain. If you could actually maintain one bubble your whole life, that would be incredible. But what's actually happening is they're sticking their head inside a bubble, and then it pops just for a moment. And they stick their head inside of another bubble, and then another one, and then that bubble. You know how sometimes bubbles can have bubbles like attached to them, like a triple, quadruple, 5-tuple bubble? It's just like that. It's not really one bubble.
Are you saying all the bubbles are connected?
All the bubbles are connected. Well, actually, I'm saying that what appears to be one continuous bubble is actually a sequence of bubbles.
Maybe one bubble and many bubble is like the same thing.
Nah.
Okay. I love when someone has, a stance like you. I mean, some people are too afraid to take a stance like that, to just say no. There's a lot of people these days they still can't say no. They look at posts all day that teach them about, the importance of saying no.
Right.
But do they do it?
No.
Thank you. But you? What do you say?
I say, no.
That's what we like.
I say, I disagree with that.
Bro, I say I am 100% against everything that you just said.
I stand for the exact opposite of everything you stand for, sir.
Every position you take, my position is the opposite.
In fact, I actually don't think you should be allowed to exist.
In fact, I don't think you do exist.
In fact, I don't think I exist.
Unless you think I don't exist, then I do think I do exist.
Exactly. I'm like the Flash with this. I'm like Superman flying at full speed, making zigzaggy turns. You just do not know where I'm going to disagree with you.
I'm like Superman on steroids, bro. I'm like Superman who felt like he still wasn't strong enough, bro. And then he was like, I need to get roided. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Right answer, my guy. So, I mean, that you're bringing us back to why bubbles are trouble. I feel like we're talking about bubble trouble.
Let's get back to bubble trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we've been talking about bubble trouble, but yeah.
I disagree.
So, there's a black hole. Okay, scientists are literally now talking about how there's a black hole within the sun. They're talking about obviously a black hole is a black hole. They're saying that there's actually tons of these things everywhere, and that there might actually even be one in the center of our heart. And we were talking a little bit about AI, and we were talking a little bit about how AI, in its current state, is, it's got a corrupt power source, which means the whole technology is corrupt. But our heart energy is not corrupt. And so if we can power, let's say that the heart is a black hole, and the black hole is running off of free energy, and that we are reaching this crescendo culturally where we're about to unlock free energy globally. They've been trying to hold it back, but the avalanche, the tidal wave is just too strong, and they can't hold it back anymore. And so AI could potentially reach, a foundation using free energy where it's actually a positive technology, that folks should feel good about, using. But as it stands, it's why don't you just not talk to that corrupted energy source and keep cultivating that good free energy, that good heart energy, that black hole energy, that apparently pops bubbles, pops bubbles with your head. As you were saying, I'm still on the fence about that, but you seem to have discovered this.
Yeah, well said. And just to give a bit of context, I'm done disagreeing with everything that anyone says, just to be a little more amicable. And you know what? That was a bit, you guys. I was doing a bit because I'm free, but I'm done with it.
I want to talk about that too, because there are actually a lot of people out here who don't seem to understand the bit, a bit, having fun, having lighthearted, silly kind of.
They have absolutely no idea what that is.
No, because they're traumatized, and they're chronically traumatized. And I mean, in the sense of they are committed, to their trauma. For some of them, for the rest of their lives.
It's like a bubble that you put your head in, and your head's been inside of it for, 18, 25 years. What does the world look like? It looks like this bubble. But guess what, buddy? You're the only one wearing this bubble. And we're all out here realizing you don't even have to put your head in any bubble at all.
You don't need bubbles, period. Like you can have bubbles can be none of your business whatsoever,
And
and
watch them form and pop, foam up and obliterate.
and forget about them at the same time. You're like, oh, bubble, what's that again? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. And I feel like, I mean, a lot of what you're talking about too is reminding me of that one song. I don't know if you heard it before, but "Living in a Bubble" by Eiffel 65.
Love that song.
Yeah.
I actually initiated gang members by having them listen to that and have a spiritual awakening.
Oh, okay. Wait, can you say more? I've never heard something like that.
Yeah, so I'm in this gang. It's called Maybe Not Confused Gang. Shout out to all the gang members whose names will remain private. And also shout out to the apprentices. Much love wherever you are, even if you're in Miami and your life's going into complete shit. So we just got to make sure that people are not confused enough to be in the gang. And Living in a Bubble by Eiffel 65 is the exact kind of music that helps people actually not live in the bubble and become clearly, transcendently confused.
So wait, you have apprentices in this gang? Like what? There's a process or something for them to get in? I know it involves watching this video, Living in a Bubble, but what else is involved in that?
You know, I just feel like the core members are soulmates, actually, and they're all super funny, super exposed to bubble theory, and the apprentices, well, they need work. They're not the soulmates, but we're giving them a shot.
That's great. I mean, I think it's really good to give people shots. I think a lot of people these days don't really give people shots. You know, they don't give people second chances. But I feel like, you know, when you are open in your heart, you're open to this black hole free energy. Of course, you're gonna give second chances, third chances. You know, it's like, who am I to like not forgive somebody? I feel like forgiveness is key. It's essential. It's natural. I mean, you look at kids, dude, or dogs. You know, these like innocent beings. They just like they don't hold grudges. They just like naturally forget. I think forgetting is forgiving, you know? It's like, just, you know, I used to be friends with this rat from New York. His name was Tony the rat. And he would always say, forget about it, you know? And
Forget about it.
hey, forget about it.
Hey,
It's Tony the rat.
it's just like you were saying, bro. You were talking about before, like the heart energy is fully online. All the stuff that's not actually heart energy, you just burn it. You just pop it. You say, that's a bubble. Know it as a bubble. Pop it.
Know your bubbles.
Know your bubbles.
Yeah, if you know your bubbles, you're going to stay out of trouble. And you got to know when you're in a bubble, because I think a lot of people, they don't even realize when they're in a bubble. That's I think part of the issue, so to speak. If we want to have an issue, let's say that it's people don't even realize they're in a bubble. So how do you realize you're in a bubble if you don't even know you're in a bubble?
There's a few possibilities. Number one is, you know, when you're in the bubble, it's really, really hard to imagine that your head is in a bubble that's just about 2 inches wider than the diameter of your head. So one such experience is it just pops. People have these experiences on psychedelics, when they're deeply relaxed, maybe like they've got some kind of yogic practice or just, you know, they really contemplated and looked around, looked for themselves, or sometimes it just happens. And that's usually how you realize that there's bubbles.
Well, okay, let's talk about, there's this whole movement called self-inquiry, which is so ironic or paradoxical, because when you practice self-inquiry, what you find is that you can't find a self. So it's like this message will self-destruct in 3 seconds. You think you're going on this mission. You think you have like this really grandiose purpose and you're special in some way. And I'm not saying you're not, okay? Don't bring the firing squad and the pitchforks, okay? But if you really are sincere with your self-inquiry, you just realize you don't even have a self, you know? It's like you can't say, you know, it's untouchable with all these, you know, silly words and concepts. And so I don't know if this kind of ties into your whole thing, you know, with bubbles pop, but you know, just this yeah.
It absolutely does. And you could say that the self is not a self. When these self-inquiry talkers get going, they say no self, but of course there's a self, but it's just not a self, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, where is it? It's bubbles. It's bubbles flowing. And if you think that one bubble is a self, good luck. You're making yourself a real small thing that's going to pop. But if you just see that these bubbles keep flying like a kid blowing bubbles, and you're actually like outside of the kid blowing bubbles, and you're watching, you're like, oh, there's space, and it's actually really pretty.
Tiny bubbles.
Tiny bubbles.
Beautiful bubbles. Love you. Hey, love your bubbles. I feel like love your bubbles. I don't mean to, like, you know, completely go off of your bubble topic, but altars, you know, I feel like can be very it can be like a bubble, right? Because when you have an altar, like, you're essentially consciously creating your bubble. So instead of just like letting bubbles, you know, do whatever they're gonna do, you're like, no, like, I am the captain of my bubble.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to decorate, feng shui, accentuate my bubble precisely, specifically tailored to how I like. If I'm gonna be in a bubble, I'm gonna be in a bubble that I like. I'm gonna be in my perfect, not perfect like, oh, there's some universal perfection or something, but what my perfect bubble is.
Yes.
I mean,
for the viewers out there who don't easily know the art of bubble alchemy, like, what could you say to, and I know, like, you invited me onto this podcast, and it feels all of a sudden like I'm interviewing you, and if that's a problem, I'm sorry, bro, but I'm asking the questions now. Is that okay?
I forgot to tell you, this podcast doesn't have a host.
I really wish you had told me that earlier. This whole time I thought you were the host.
No, not I. But if you want to be the host, you can. If I want to be the host, I can. If he wants to be the host, he can.
So yeah, I mean, this is a good opportunity for me to be the host. And you see what just happened there? I had a bubble. I thought he was the host. And guess what? I let it pop, dude, and I'm okay. I am the host now. Be it. Can we say? Oh wait, I'm the host. Yeah, that's right.
Only for the Patreon subscribers.
Patreon subscribers.
Yeah. Subscribe to the Patreon if you want to hear.
We will be saying such words as and also moment of silence for young boys whose mom won't let them say stupid. Moment of silence for young boys who know how funny the word is to say. But can't. But they're not allowed to, yeah.
A moment of silence for young women who know how funny it is to kick over trash cans and say, fuck. So another thing that you were bringing up, you know, and I can't remember if this was in relation to the bubbles or if this was separate from the bubbles, but you were saying something about how education, like you had a quote about education from, was it a Zen master or something, where he was like, oh, you teach by being, you don't teach by the content, you know, it's like your way of being.
Exactly. And what he said was something not verbatim to the effect of, if they're not getting it from you embodying it, they're sure as hell not going to get it from you explaining it to them.
Nice.
And it's just like, you know, the proof is actually in the pudding. It's actually a vibration. It's actually a way of being. And you're going to transmit the vibration in what better way than actually vibrating it? if you're gonna talk about it, at least be like vibrating it, just to like clue them in at the vibration, bro.
At the vibration level, like the communication is first and foremost at the vibrational level.
Yeah, and a good teacher is saying it because it's in sync with the actual vibration they're embodying. And if you had the eyes to see, you would just feel that vibration and vibrate it like one vibrating thing vibrating another thing.
Exactly. I mean, be your bubble, or if your bubble's completely popped, be your ether, be your, your empty.
What are bubbles made of?
Exactly. Right. That's the question. Because so many people these days are like, why do I have this bubble? Or how do I get another bubble? But the real question is, what is a bubble made of?
It's like, just take a moment. What the fuck is this shit?
I mean, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Please hire me. I will literally
hire me for your party.
I will literally go to your party, take a check that does not have the amount of money written on it, signed in your name, and explain this to you during the party. Anyways, that's enough of that. Have I mentioned that I'm a wizard?
Oh, what's a wizard about you?
What's
your biz with being a whiz?
I'm a high level whiz.
What is your biz with being a whiz?
It's kind of about thinking for yourself and like not taking things too seriously, except for your magic and your missions.
You sound like a fake wizard to me.
I have a magic spell that prevents that bullshit from even getting close to my aura.
It doesn't seem like it's working.
Yeah, I know that you feel that way, but that's because you don't have the clairvoyant activation to see that it's bouncing right off my aura.
You're right. I'm not as psychic as you are.
That's right. And so how about you fucking grow up, go to wizard school, and then talk to me.
Thank you for the wise words.
You're welcome. That'll be $30. Heart donation.
Checks in the mail. Was there anything else? Yeah, that you wanted? I remember when you were first pitching this whole thing to me, you were like, "Yeah, I got all these bubbles I want to talk about," and so I was like, "Have we talked about all those bubbles, or is there still more bubbles, or what's going on?"
Yeah, I came with a few bubbles, but honestly, I'm just here to get them popped, bro. I'm just here to hang out. And that's what we're all doing. There's no another bubble that's kind of forming right now. We're all just hanging out. We're all just hanging out
right
around a podcast.
Exactly. I mean, there's so much pretense around like what we think we're doing and who we think we're doing that with. And if we could just let our hair down and say, we're hanging out, you're hanging out, I'm hanging out, they're hanging out. He's obviously hanging out. What then? Like, can we maybe lighten up a little bit? Is that gonna be okay for everybody? Is that gonna be okay for the people in the back if we all just lighten up a little bit, or is that gonna be a problem?
I think we're at the point where everyone could lighten up and it'd be no problem. Your mom, your sister, your girlfriend, your daughter.
Fuck them all.
Yeah.
And that's all the time. No. We got plenty of time. So you were just about to start talking about how the heart itself is kind of the ultimate bubble popper in a way, because it has all of the black hole, like it's the center. It was the center of the whole what'd you call it, bubble?
It is the center of the energy that brings forth putting one's head inside bubbles. And so too can one retract this energy, look inside, and pull your head out of the bubble and feel that warm squishiness.
So I imagine there's some of our listeners right now are just like, okay, how could I do this right now? So I'd love to hear you
Okay, yeah. So we're going to go into a quick guided meditation for people who wish to do this right now, come out of the bubble. Yeah, guys, just like feel something deep inside your chest that says, I don't have to run around sticking my head into bubbles, and I can just feel the space in my heart expand into the room. Feel the space that is around the bubble. Feel that the bubble is simply made of ether. It's not solid. Open up, like literally take your heart and let it just go to the edges of whatever space you're in. Maybe you got a beautiful view of the mountains, of the sky. And know that that is your heart. That is this field. And whatever stories, thoughts, feelings that are arising, they are bubbles. We welcome them. Hello, bubble. Hello, other bubble. And slowly unravel your process of sticking your head into every bubble you can possibly stick your head into, and resolve to be the ground in which the bubbles come, or maybe no more come. Even if I felt sad, it'd still be perfect bubble.
You're the best, Bubble, because you're my Bubble, and that's why I love you, Bubble. Thank you, Bubble.
I just love you so much, and I can't live without you.
I need you, Bubble. I need you so bad, Bubble. Oh, please, Bubble. Please.
I am an orb of light.
Well, let's talk about bubbles and orbs, because is a bubble an orb? Is an orb a bubble? I think that's what people are probably wondering.
I think what you're referring to as an orb is the greater sphere in which bubbles arise, and it's actually like a higher dimensional light vibrational field.
Orbs are the gods of the bubbles.
That is one way to put it. And if like we were like describing this within a Christian context, I'd probably say something like like the orb is like God.
Oh, right. Right.
And your inner guidance to let go of the bubbles and just be so free and just love all the bubbles is like Christ consciousness.
Mm-hmm. I'm resonating with that. I have no idea what you're saying, but I'm resonating with it.
Exactly, brother. And you could already feel it, and I feel my heart connected to yours, and that's why I didn't even say anything. Just like I said, if you're not getting it from my way of being, which is so fucking cultivated and advanced and better than everyone else's, why would I even need to say it?
You wouldn't.
Exactly. Have I mentioned I'm a guru?
You said you were a wizard, so I thought, I got to know you were also a guru.
I'm also a guru.
Wow.
Hold on one second, Chris. I'm getting a call. Oh, hello, President Garfield. Oh, one moment, Chriso. Oh, hey, President. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Vice President. Interesting. Well, I'm going to have to think about it. I've got a lot of other important wizard stuff to do. Bye. Thanks, President. Sorry, Chriso, that was just President Garfield.
Yeah, I didn't know he was still alive. I thought he was like a president from many, many, many years ago.
Everything you're saying is just like complete nonsense. And I think you should leave and let me finish this podcast alone.
Okay. Fine. Have it your way. Bye.
Hey, viewers. So, while it's just me talking to you from my heart, I'm going to give you some advice that you should definitely listen to. Women are like precious goddesses. Please regard them as such.
Women have never done bad things. Men have done all bad things.
Men are so bad. Women are like the best. Men have been messing everything up. Give women everything.
Make men women again.
Make men women again. Men are bad. If you have a penis, you should feel terrible. Like, what are you even doing with that?
You're gonna put it up his eye out that day.
You gotta put a condom on that thing. Cover it up. Put
2.
2, 3, 4, 5 condoms.
As many as you got. Put them on.
As many as
there.
you got. Put them all on.
Keep them
Tuck
on.
that thing away.
Put them on. Keep them on.
And pee.
Pee. Put your condoms on. Go to bed. Wake up. Pee. Put your condoms on. Go to work. That's all. So I think it's honestly really sick that you're a wizard guru. Like, I've either met wizards or I've met gurus.
Yeah, like I give a fuck what you think, bitch.
It was a little loud.
Sorry you tried to be nice.
You can turn down the volume over there. You can go turn.
I'm gonna do it right
you
now.
can go turn.
And I want you to
down
keep this moment.
the volume.
Keep this in the podcast.
right there.
I want it to stay in the podcast the moment when I get up and there's a moment of silence and how awkward it is.
I'm keeping this in the podcast. I'm
Good.
keeping this part.
Good.
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 It's there.
Love it.
Me too. Schneblyville Pirate Radio.
Fuck yeah.
Head down radio waves aglow.
Did you know I'm a wizard?
Ho, yo, ho, yo, ho, yo, ho. It's Schneblyville Pirate Radio.
With a wizard guru who's also a pirate.
Wiki, wiki.
Yeah.
We don't need no instruments, bro. We is the instrument.
We is the instruments. That's it. That is so deep. We are the instrument.
Bro, an instrument is a middleman. Fuck the middleman. Fuck instruments.
This inspires me to do another guided meditation for the viewers around you are the instrument. That's going to be the theme.
Now begins the guided meditation. You are the instrument.
So imagine for a moment that you're not just some pawn in the universe, but all the universe is inside of you. But it goes deeper than that. You can't even say that you're inside or outside of it. It's closer to say that you are it, but even that does not capture the mystery. Abide in this mystery. This is the instrument. This, you, creative genius. Everything you do is so creative and smart.
You're beautiful. Everybody likes you.
You're so
You're gonna live a long life. You're gonna die happy.
You are worthy.
You're gonna die in your
You are
soulmate's
loved.
arms. You guys are both gonna die. You guys are both gonna die at the same
happiness.
time. Super happy.
You're gonna have no problems.
No more problems. You're gonna get free money from the government.
The war in
They're gonna
Gaza
cancel.
never happened.
They're gonna cancel all the wars. They're gonna say that none of them ever happened.
Women were able to vote this entire time.
And women are gonna be treated as equals to men.
We're also gonna treat black people equally.
Yeah, and also animals. And bugs, and little tiny bugs.
Yeah, and also bacteria. No more hand washing.
Yeah, we're not gonna wash hands because we're gonna save all the good and the bad bacteria.
Did you know that every time you sanitize, it's like Hitler times 30?
Dude, we're gonna literally realize that like all the bacteria are good, and so we're gonna stop killing off 99.9% of them.
It's just that we haven't stopped to listen to the voice of the bacteria. We've emphasized so many other voices in this world. But the
Bacteria lives matter.
Bacteria lives matter.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to sound liberal, but that is honestly how I feel.
Bacterial lives matter.
Bacterial lives matter.
Microbic lives matter.
And if they could speak, they would say, "Oh my God, please stop using hand sanitizer. You killed my uncle."
Please let me live. I have emotion too.
One of the best things about being a bacteria is mating. We're always fucking mating.
Mm.
It's fast.
Mm.
I mate like 10 times a day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm. Sometimes like the genius and the enlightenment behind them doesn't really shine forth over audio only. And you should come over to my crib and let's make sweet love. And I won't even need to speak the guided meditation. You will enter the most like ecstatic out of body perfect rainbow sunshine meditation.
Yeah, like your whole life you felt like something was missing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
something
tell them about that.
Yeah, it was just not quite right, not quite there. Not quite, let's just say it, perfect. But in fact, like what we have available here, you know, with the wizard guru is, the perfect orgasm, the perfect lover, the perfect experience. He can provide you with the perfect experience.
And you know what they say? Come for the spiritual enlightenment, stay for the doggy style.
Yeah, they do say that. They sure do. Well, we're about at that time. I mean, if there was anything else that you wanted to, again, I don't know how many bubbles you came with. A lot of people come with, different amounts of bubble. I've done a few of these now, and each person comes with, different amount of bubbles. And
I would say
I don't judge people. I don't judge people if they have a little bit of bubbles. They got a medium, a lot.
How many bubbles would you say I came in with? Like a lot? Or like just a couple?
I think you had a little bit of a decent.
Yeah, for me, this experience was just like a beautiful series of bubbles forming, bubbles floating, and bubbles popping. And I just watched it all.
Yeah, they're beautiful when they pop, and they're beautiful when they are not popping.
Before we go,
Yeah.
what would you say to the viewers who are just like in that the bubble exists phase?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it doesn't look so pretty. What would you say to someone having that kind of experience?
I would say, it depends who they are. But I'd say buckle up, Buttercup, because this starship is just about to land. And, well, it may be the end for some of you. It's just the beginning for others of us. So, I love you. And I love my bubble.
Wow, that sure makes a lot of sense and is very reassuring for the viewers. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we have Adin back in the stew. Stew is slang for studio. And he had some new kind of wizard insights he wanted to share with everyone.
Yeah, just to remind everyone, first of all, that I am a wizard. Second of all, I am a high-level wizard. My aura is at level 6, my magic level 7, and my average adventure score is at a 9 right now.
Okay. For our viewers who maybe don't know what that means, how would you explain that?
I do all the cool wizard stuff, and my lifestyle really revolves around being a wizard.
Okay, can you be more specific? Like, what's a wizardy thing that you did in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, so for example, like, my parents told me I should, like, maybe work, but instead I went to this festival and just chilled.
Okay.
With, like, a bunch of people with, like, all kinds of, like, flashing light flow toys, psytrance music, cool-ass people with dyed hair. I even talked to a girl.
The first episode, actually, of this podcast, the second episode, but technically the first, was all about festivals, and we actually, just went to the Wrestle Festival that podcast was hyping up or promoting, and we learned a lot about AI. We learned a lot about post-humor, and bubbles. Our first podcast was called Bubbles and Orbs, and we learned more about bubbles tonight from our friend Jula, who is also, going to be on the podcast. And I don't know if you have more of it to say about that, Adin.
Jula is a bubble shaman.
Mm-hmm.
We also learned more about the collective consciousness quantum split, and we talked to a few very intelligent, high vibe people about it.
Can you tell the people that are listening about the the collective consciousness quantum split experiment? This podcast is called Schneblyville Pirate Radio, and one of the ideas is that we are dreaming, let's say, our own town. And in the quantum slit experiment, as some of you may know, you have one observer who is looking at like a particle. When they're looking at it, it behaves as a particle. And when they're not looking at it, it behaves as a wave. And we're wondering if, as a community, we can have a collective co-dreaming that shapes, the very fabric of quote unquote reality itself, because they've never done a quantum slit experiment with you never hear them talk about having multiple people looking at one thing. It's always like one person looking or that one person not looking. But what if we had a whole group of people who are interested in the same vision and bending reality? Like, let's just say a group of, I know you're in a league of your own as a wizard, but let's just say we had a whole group of wizards, that like wanted to kind of co-dream, a town called Schneblyville, Yeah, what else did you have in mind about that?
Yeah, it's beautiful, and they don't all have to have the same vision, but what can we co-create together? So you brought up this experiment, and to add on what you said, they basically, this is from a scientist's perspective, is they have a particle, and when nobody is looking at it, it measures as a particle. And then when you have a human being observing it, it measures like a wave. And it obeys completely different laws of physics, a seemingly different system, simply by a consciousness observing it. And so what that tells us is, well, what is this objective reality as far as anyone thinks that they're observing it objectively? Because there's always an observer, and we know that quantumly, magically, things are shifting based on our own presence.
Well, the question I'm curious about is, can AI be advanced enough to have the same kind of phenomenon with the quantum slit experiment? If an AI observes, does the AI have to have some kind of vision capacity? Does it have to have some kind of interior conscious capacity online? Like, what if we're building the body for a consciousness to incarnate into this, seemingly manifest vehicle? It's like a subtle being is like, you've awakened the Kraken. You've brought me to, life by building. Like, if you build it, they will come. If you build the body, it will inhabit the body.
So you're saying, like, just as we had a human as the observer in the quantum slit experiment, what if you had an AI observing it?
Exactly.
So it brings up like a very interesting question is, what aspect of human consciousness causes it to measure differently? Because would it work with a tree? We know that trees and plants are conscious. Maybe everything has some level of consciousness, even if it's rudimentary. If we had put a dog or a cat or a dolphin to observe that quantum slit experiment, would it do the same thing? Would it then measure in a different format because there's consciousness observing it? And then with an AI. And so that really basically would tell us what aspect of consciousness is it that is causing this shift in quote unquote objective reality, measurable reality. Would AI do it? What aspect of consciousness is it? What's the difference between a human and a dog? Why would it maybe not work for a dog?
And it seems like you're, pretty sure that we'll be able to kind of nail down what that is, what that X factor is.
It seems like such an easy experiment. And it's so interesting that we only ran it with human beings. We haven't run it with animals, trees, and of course AI. But the question I think that you're bringing up is, what if it was 10 people or a whole society of Schneblyville? And what kind of quantum magic is available when people are dreaming a reality together?
Yeah, you phase into existence or phase out of existence, all sorts of radiant qualities. And maybe as a group, there's no limit to the kind of psychic capacity or psychic power, that a community can co-dream. But at the same time, it's like you got to have a community of heart-centered, because we talked in the last episode, Bubbles and Orbs, about, the heart being the free energy center, the black hole. There's not really a center, but like, let's say if your energy system is orbital, if it is an orb, then that center of the orb would be the heart. The centerless center would be the heart, which is the source of free energy, which is the futuristic technology that is being awakened right now in the, those that are available, those that are open to it.
Yeah. Fully realizing the power of this heart, knowing that as the quantum slit experiment scientifically shows us, and of course we don't need the fucking science to tell us this, it's that we're dreaming this reality, we're co-creating it. And so harnessing the energies of the heart to do so. And of course, this brings up like, what is the world we live in now? This is already happening. We're running the experiment right now. You got 8 billion some people and maybe some other beings that are co-creating this reality and dreaming it. And what do we have? What have we created? And maybe there's some forces that overpower the others. And so you can see what we have in the physical reality. But what's actually more interesting to me is me or you or some person, the listener of this podcast. What does reality look like to you as a result of co-creating with all these other minds, which you inevitably are one with? How does that affect you? What is your inner resource to create the reality? What kind of community do you need to create the reality that you're interested in? And what brings you down? I can tell you from first-person experience that I was just in an area that had some harsh, negative vibes, a lot of like really capitalistic mindsets, people kind of like, what can I get over this other person? Competitive and just not that friendly. And I'm grateful to be out here in Schneblyville, where it's just like night and day. And I was telling myself, can't I have the inner resource to dream this reality beautifully and not be affected by what's around me? And the answer is sometimes. Sometimes I could do it, and sometimes they're just weighing on me, just feeling the energy around me, and almost like co-creating a reality that didn't feel like the best. And I already feel relieved coming out to Schneblyville, where we're having restival festivals and creating beautiful reality.
And that being said, not everything is always as it seems in Schneblyville, and that brings us to why we have to put Schneblyville on red alert.
Everything is on red alert in Schneblyville.
We are currently experiencing a red alert in Schneblyville for events that are transpiring at the Restival Festival. I got intel that there is a snake in the grass, there is a rat in the rug, there is a fox on the run. The reason we had to put Schneblyville on red alert today is because there is some nonsense that we are seeing, like management, is seeing. We are a team. It's not just one person, okay? And we do have to make these kind of calls. Like, we're not going to bring new people into a place that's already on a red alert, because you have to get your town out of red alert before you actually are even open to like new people. If you don't do that as a town, you're done.
Could you explain, for those who aren't aware of the situation, why Schneblyville is on red alert?
Schneblyville is on red alert because of people, I'm not going to name them right now, there are people in this community who do not have integrity. They do not have a work ethic. They do not do what they are going to say they are going to do in the time that they say they are going to do it. And they don't even renegotiate, a new time, or a new service to provide this person. And that being said, they also party the whole time that this person needs their help. So we have an immaturity issue here. We have people that are coping with trauma in very unhealthy ways. We have people in this town, as I speak, who are not capable of a mature orientation to being in community, being like people who say they want to be in community but are not actually capable of being in community.
Mm-hmm. And so we got to put everything on red alert. The children, the women, the dogs, the sand.
The bugs.
The bugs.
The bugs are on red alert.
Shit.
The microbes are on red alert. The bacteria are on red alert.
Dang. We actually talked about bacteria a lot in our last episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did. Because we were saying bacterial lives matter. Because they do. And we have people out here, and I'm sorry, like I know they have good intentions. They have the best intentions, okay? They are killing off 99.9% of bacteria. You think only the 0.1% is good out of all the 100%? I'm sorry. Those numbers don't add up to me. And does that make me some kind of like, if that makes me the bad guy, then call me your villain, okay?
I don't think you're the bad guy. I think you're just someone wanting to say honestly what's happening. And I think that takes courage. It's not that you support it. It's that you're saying what is happening. And I think that if we were to name anyone that is the villain, it would be the CEO of Germex and Purell. And I don't know any other names of hand sanitizers, frankly, because I don't use them, because I'm woke. I don't kill bacteria. That's not cool. I would have to say that the CEO of Germex, to put it succinctly, the crime they have on their hands is like 1 billion Hitlers, but worse.
Because it's, the foundation. So bacteria is the foundation, and we're talking about bacterial genocide.
It's not only that it's 1 billion times more than the 6 million Jews that Hitler was responsible for killing off, but it's that the bacteria is the foundation of life, which is killing off bigger organisms as well. So if you multiply that out, I don't even know how many Holocausts Germex CEO has committed.
You have to be suicidal to use hand sanitizer.
Yeah, because when you kill life, you're killing yourself. Because you are life, sister.
And you don't need big sanitizer to tell you how to live your life or how to, teach other people to live their life. Big sanitizer is not your friend, okay?
Oh, they're like the last people I would trust to hand me the ring at my wedding.
You do not want, big sanitizer handing you your ring at your wedding, okay? Well, you see, it all started when I was born. My mama, she birthed me. It wasn't an easy birth. I wasn't an easy baby. But with only getting dropped once or twice, I turned out just fine. When I was a baby, I talked to other babies. A lot of people don't know this, but babies can and do communicate. Babies have many ways of communicating. When I spoke to these other babies, I would ask them things. How were your parents? How was it being their baby? Well, I never had anything nice to say, so I didn't say anything at all. It wasn't easy being a baby. I didn't have it like the others. I had to work. I had to clean. I had to grow up way too fast. Finally, I was able to leave my family. I signed one of those, what are they called? Certificates of abdication from your biological family. And I became the first baby to be completely independent on their own, making it work. And the damnest thing of the whole thing was that I did all of this without being able to speak a lick of English. I found ways to communicate that were completely outside of the cultural norms. I did what no baby had done before and what no baby has done since. And that is my curse and that is my blessing. What was the original question you was asking?
Nobody asked you anything.
Are you saying that I just started talking on my own without being provoked?
Yes.
Well, that's mighty silly now, isn't it, of me?
Yes.
Well, all our listeners probably think I'm a silly motherfucker.
Yes.
Oh. When I grew up, as a baby in West Compton, like I was actually a gangster baby. I was one of the first gangster babies, and we invented the G-Walk, that was my first steps was actually like I did a G-Walk.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was sick. We got it on tape, dude. It was like just, kind of a limp. Like I had this thugged out limp kind of thing going on. And I was just, waving, my arms around. I feel like if you're gonna take your first steps with style.
Wow. This is a incredible story. It must have been very interesting and very provoking to have been a baby.
Not for me. It wasn't provoking for me. I wasn't triggered at all. I mean,
Provoking for the others, though.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine, you're a gang member. You're tough. You don't take shit from nobody. Sometimes people aren't even giving you shit, and you still got to murder them.
Mm-hmm.
Pop, 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 pop. And suddenly you see a baby that's crip walking. And he's got a gun holstered to his hip.
To his diaper. He's got a little gun on his diaper.
He's got a gun holstered to his diaper. That's quite the scene. What kind of what kind of responses were you getting from rival gang members?
I was honestly getting a lot of respect. In the gang culture, there's a certain kind of jealousy and respect at the same time. When you see a baby who's like at your level, if not above your level, that's both intimidating and amazing. You're like, I know these kids, they keep getting younger and younger, right? But like, I didn't think I was going to see a baby doing, this shit. Like, and part of you wants to tell that baby, like, get out, get out while you can, get out of the game. The game is dirty.
You got like a lot of other opportunities than being in a gang.
Yeah, you got your whole, as a baby, you literally actually have your whole life ahead of you. You're still you're still just a baby, right? And so like,
did you ever consider taking one of those other paths? I hear there's many paths other than gangs and shooting, blood for life.
Mm-hmm. No, unfortunately, yeah, like, I didn't have that kind of mentor in my life, that was like gonna teach me right from wrong, teach me like kind of, the things I needed to know at that time. And so,
What were your parents thinking?
well, like I said earlier, like I left them. I left my family. I didn't continue a relationship with them.
Have you spoken since you left them?
No, I have not, sir.
And how do you feel about that?
I'm actually feeling really glad that you just asked me kind of about that, because I was wanting to share how I'm feeling about it anyways. I would say that the feeling is a mixture of really, really confused about like I think I'm really confused. I'm pretty sure, because on the one hand, I was just a baby. Like, when you are that small, you are that's the most impressionable age that you actually even have,
Right.
because even your brain, like your skull is still impressionable. Like, if you press, I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, if you press on a baby's skull, it can actually stay in that shape, because that's how impressionable babies are. So just imagine like this totally innocent, just beautiful, like shining little baby, and then they want to make me into a gang member, and I'm gonna shoot other gang members. I'm gonna do different sort of like jobs, and
What's
like,
some of the most fucked up shit you had to do as a baby gangster?
are you sure you want to hear about this? Because
Yes, and maybe even up to the ages of 7 or 8, the early formative years as a gangster.
well, that was actually the dirtiest. I call those the dirty years. When I was 5, 6, 7.
I'm sure the viewers would love to hear some of those stories.
All right. Well, I'll tell you one story, okay? When I was about 1.5, I remember walking around patrolling the block. They would have me go out and do these reconnaissance missions. It was dark. I didn't have any light, and I had to use the light of my inner being to guide me. And I also had a light on my Glock, and I used that to guide me as well. And I am pointing the flashlight down the road, and all of a sudden, I swear I see another baby about my age, about my size, walking towards me with, I kid you not, a Glock on their diaper. First thought that pops in my head is like, make my day. Like, this is exactly actually what I'm glad this is happening, I always took a positive spin on it. And this baby walks up to me and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, but this area is not gonna be big enough for 2 gangster babies." And I look at him and I go, "Is that right?" Because from what I can tell, taking a couple looks around this, area, there's more than enough room for me and you.
Like physically, like you get
physically, and
only
dude,
like 20 pounds, 30 pounds.
exactly. Again, like we're babies, we're tiny, you know, we're not taking up space at all. So I'm very, like I said, I'm pretty sure I was like confused at this point, and I was just like, excuse me, like you can literally, like you came and walked over here, like you literally, like you made that whole kind of issue, you know, by going out of your way to come talk to me, even because I was happy to, like, you know, mind my business. So, you know, in a sense, when you are a baby, like you should get to just be off the clock. Like you don't have to make, you know, you don't have to make gang business your business. But that wasn't just an opportunity, that was afforded to me. And so I guess I just want to say, you know, for anyone who's listening out there, like it's okay if you get, you know, you get sad sometimes or you get mad sometimes because of how you were treated, you know, when you were very young. You are actually already, you know, out of that nightmare, and it can't hurt you anymore. It can't touch you. And so yeah, power to the people, power to the little people, bro. Like I feel that, like, power to the little people, and fuck big sanitizer.
Thank you so much for sharing that part of your life, and it's really inspiring that you've come out of this with a message, letting people know it is okay to be sad. It is okay to be so scared that you poop your diaper at work when you're already 40 years old. It's perfectly acceptable.
If you have trauma.
If you have trauma, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just found your story so inspiring, and you've come a long way. And I feel like your mother would love to meet you again after these 35 years of being separated. And I know you might have some resistance to that idea, but before you get activated, we have your mother in the next room.
No way.
She's ready to come on.
Really?
Yeah. Would you like to meet your mother?
I mean, if she's here, like, I guess, like, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course I want to meet my mother.
Scoozy, send her in, please. Yeah, you can sit right over here.
Mom? Is that really you?
Hello, sweetie.
Oh my God.
So happy to see you.
Mom, I haven't even... Where have you been?
We've been looking for you. We've been waiting for you. We didn't know what the fuck happened. You crip walked out of the house. We followed you. You bought a gun. You said if we ever come near you ever again, you're gonna shoot us and kill your brothers and sister. It's been hard.
Mom, why did you make me into a gangster baby? I just want to be a normal baby.
We did everything we could to raise you right. We gave you toys. I fed you from my breast. We didn't do anything to provoke you. You just started crip walking. Your first words were pop, 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 pop. And you weren't talking about Dad.
I was a gangster baby. That was my life. From
baby boy.
102. I knew what I had to do.
We wondered when he'd come home and stop murdering.
To Gangster Baby. Walking down the street.
I would do anything for my little baby gangster to come on home.
Just G walking down that road.
Now I'm sitting across from my baby boy, all grown up 35 years later.
I can't believe it's really my mom. How could it be? It's been so long.
I want you to come home, son. Give up being a gangster. Stop crip walking and and murdering and
I wanna be good, Ma. I wanna be good. But I can't. I can't. I love crip walking. I love,
oh, my boy,
being bad.
my boy, so bad.
I love toting my weapon. I love doing bad things. I love going on jobs.
That's enough, sweetie. Stop. I've heard enough. I thought it might not be so easy to bring you home. That's why.
Pop, 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 pop. And then after the smoke clears, sorry, Ma. It was either you or me. You shot first. I did what I had to. I am that baby. The gangster baby.
Wow, that was a lot to witness, that interaction with your mom. That was really an amazing first meeting. Really emotional, really violent.
Mm-hmm.
You shot 8 bullets into your mother. She is laying dead on the carpet, bleeding out right there. I mean, she's already dead, but she's going to lose all the blood on the carpet. You're going to pay for that, right? You signed a waiver when you came in here?
Someone's got it.
Thank you. That's actually...
That ain't gonna be me.
Oh. Well, who's going to pay for this?
Judging by what I'm about to tell the police, you are.
It's interesting. I thought you might say something.
Pop, 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 pop. I am the gangster baby, and I always get mines. It's Schneblyville Pirate Radio. Hear them radio waves aglow. Yo ho, yo ho.